Khvicha Kvaratskhelia is arguably one of the best players in the world right now. In his career, he has won multiple trophies, including a Scudetto, 2 Liga titles and the Champions League. And he could make that 2 Champions League titles when PSG face Arsenal this Saturday in the final. So let's kind of walk through Kvaratskhelia's whole career, like paint this story going into this final, because he's PSG's arguably one of their best players right now. Yeah. He played growing up in Georgia. That's where he's from. He played football his whole childhood there, didn't he, Benny? And then he went to Napoli in 2022, and he won the Scudetto in his first year there. Is that really where he came into the picture in the world of football and cemented himself as a household name in football?
That's when people got to know him. Right, so he went to Napoli and he, stormed the scene there in Serie A, won the Scudetto that year, was one of the, big time signings. I think he's known to be one of the best signings in Napoli's history. I think he went there for 10 million only. And then he blew up onto the scene. He was able to move on, obviously, to PSG, where we now see him every weekend. And I don't even think it's arguable. Right, you talked about arguably one of the best players for PSG, arguably one of the best players in the world. I think he is the best winger in the world and at least one of the top 3 when you compare with a couple of other guys. But he is phenomenal in so many of the things he does, not only offensively, what he helps the team with defensively. And with PSG, right, when you talk about PSG, what they need from their attacking 3 is so excessive, and he's able to provide that. So he's a special player.
Hannah, before Kvaratskhelia was at Napoli, I want to just go back in time to see who was the sporting director at Napoli, or the scout, who said, you know what, we're going to go Dinamo Batumi, not Dinamo Zagreb, Dinamo Batumi in Georgia, and get that Kvaratskhelia guy. Kvara who? Well, in the span of maybe just 2 months, Italian football fans quickly learned his name, and he was adopted a name and given a name, I should say, by Napoli fans. They called him Kvaradona. And in my personal opinion, he is the most electrifying player that's worn a Napoli kit since Diego Armando Maradona. He took Serie A by storm. Some of the goals that he scored in that Scudetto winning season, most people will see Victor Osimhen. I remember covering the Champions League that season, and so much of the conversation was Victor Osimhen's banging in the goals left and right. But for me, the player that always caught my eye, the player that could change a game in an instant like that, was always Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. And there's no surprise that Real Madrid were asking for his signature after he won Serie A Player of the Year.
And Benny, he's one of your, you mentioned before, he's one of your favourite players to watch. What makes him so special in terms of he can go to Napoli, he can go to PSG and win all these trophies?
So he is my favorite player to watch in the world right now. And the reason is because everything he does it with speed, power. He works for the team, right? And so he has the ability to dribble. He has the ability to cut inside and shoot to that far corner. He has the ability to go down the line and cut it back for his teammates, as we saw against Bayern Munich in the Dembélé goal in the second leg. He has the ability to defend and help out his team. And my favorite thing about him is his off-the-ball movement, which is fantastic. And we'll see, I know, in a goal that you're gonna have us see here in a second, his off-the-ball movement is second to none. And I love that kind of ability from a player that he doesn't just need the ball at his feet all the time. He can make things without the ball and then be a really dangerous player going forward. So he's phenomenal to watch with all the power, agility, speed, technical ability. He has it all.
Yeah, and he was at Napoli for 3 seasons, and he left to go to PSG in January 2025. But at the start of that season, Conte kind of said, look, I'm not going to stay here if Kvara's not here. And that kind of only worked out for the 6 months. When he moved to PSG, though, what kind of perception was he viewed as by the fans?
Look, I know a lot of people, because we cover Serie A here, will look from the Napoli side of things, and it was a bit of a dumpster fire, and that sometimes comes with Antonio Conte. You're going to win league trophies, but there's going to be a lot of aggression and a lot of, let's say, locker room discord and tough love. I back Kvaratskhelia for doing this. He's a player that knows his worth, and he had a lot of self-belief, where he didn't fancy the way that Napoli were playing, very defensive-minded, very much, let's hit you on the counter. There are times where he's put in uncomfortable and very compromising positions with him and Antonio Conte. To answer your question about his perception and how he's perceived by French football fans, it's amazing that they couldn't believe their lucky stars. It's one of the biggest coups in modern football that they got him for under 70 million euros. Khvicha Kvaratskhelia now, even last season, Benny, when you
what is he worth now?
If you would have
somebody were to buy him now,
said to you, if you're a PSG fan, you know what, you're going to get one of the best wingers in the world, a Serie A, former Serie A player of the season, for only 60 million euros.
I wouldn't even care about the money. If I'm as a fan, I'm not thinking about the money. I just want to have this on my team. So even more so for the bargain,
yeah.
It's unbelievable. He has to be one of the most valuable players in the world and probably most expensive now if PSG ever decided to sell him.
Yeah, and Hannah, just very quickly, most people see Ousmane Dembélé as a reason, and Gigi Donnarumma as the two reasons why PSG won the Champions League. For me, Khvicha Kvaratskhelia was one of the biggest reasons because PSG season, their Champions League campaign was floundering, and he just gave an injection of belief, an injection of life and energy. And his profile, all the things you said, Benny, is exactly in the mold of Luis Campos and Luis Enrique's PSG transfer strategy.
Yep.
And it was just amazing to see them go for the guy they wanted, and history just writes itself.
Do you think he was that missing piece in PSG's Champions League campaign last year for them to go on to win the treble?
I think there were a couple of missing pieces. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is the viral clip that came out with Mbappe, right? When he's being told he needs to work for the team and he needs to do things defensively. He's one of the leaders. He needs to do this, that, and the other. And Mbappe doesn't have that in his DNA as much as Dembélé, as much as Kvaratskhelia, and as much as Doué. And those three guys, as much as they have immense amounts of talent going forward, they work their tails off defensively. And they provide the pressure, they provide the cover, and they're willing to run from deep. And so, yes, I think this is a missing puzzle piece to any team that wants to win a Champions League.
Thanks for watching this video from Morning Footy. For all news and insights regarding leagues around the world like EFL, Serie A, and all UEFA competitions, both men's and women's, don't forget to sign up for Paramount+.